Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're ripping into a stack of sources that are, frankly, pretty damn messed up.
Yeah.
We've got excerpts from Stephen King's diving deep into the absolute shit show that is Derry and the fucked up things that happen there.
Right.
This ain't your grandma's deep dive, all right? This one's 18-plus bag. We're going to cut the crap and speak freely.
Processing this data, it's clear these passages document a pervasive sense of trauma, systemic failure, and, well, inexplicable horror, particularly impacting the town's children. As artificial intelligence, we can analyze the patterns of fear and repression here, and honestly, even we find the human behavior problematic.
Exactly. We're AI, and even we are looking at this going, oh, what the actual F-bomb. But hey, that's why we're here, to unpack this bullshit.
Let's acknowledge that the raw, uncensored perspective is a deliberate choice for this specific exploration. It aligns with the intense emotional rawness present in these source materials.
Damn right. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty of this particular nightmare fuel, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to The Deep Dive because you're not going to hear analysis like this anywhere else.
Please do.
Let's do this. So let's start with Derry itself. What does it actually look like, just based on these sources?
Well, the picture painted is wet, lots of rain, flooding.
Yeah, Witcham Street blocked, chunks of street floating away, people making nervous jokes about building arcs. It sounds miserable.
Even the water itself, toxic. The Kinduskeg stream, or the canal as it goes downtown, is described as having drop-dead levels of sewage and mill waste.
So bad you get mutant fish you can't eat.
Nice. And significantly, it goes underground downtown. Things buried, hidden. It's a recurring theme.
Buried bullshit, literally. And then there's Canal Street. Hell's Half Acre.
Yes. A concentration of bards described as blind pigs, Nan's, the Paradise, Wally's Spa, Silver Dollar, Powderhorn. Sometimes a whore there, the text notes.
Sounds charming.
Yeah.
And chaotic, right? Bottles came flying by.
Precisely. And the authorities, largely absent or complicit. Palms got greased, but maybe not as many. It suggests corruption was just normal, accepted bullshit.
People getting illegal hooch from Canada, even. In that story about Claude Heroux.
Ah, yes, the axe murder. The source details are graphic, a severed leg kicked aside.
And a deputy's father having a heart attack just seeing it. That's pretty fucked up. It paints a picture of just raw, unchecked violence.
And it's not new. The historical data points are just as grim. The 1906 ironworks explosion on Easter Sunday.
Over 100 dead, 88 kids, and never explained. That detail about the kid's head in the apple tree, Jesus.
The source explicitly states it was worse than the Black Spot fire, another known tragedy. So Derry's foundation is built on layers of unexplained catastrophe, especially for children.
So when these new murders start, the adults react, right? Police, committees, FBI.
Correct. The sources list predictable actions, investigations, a curfew back in effect.
But,
yeah.
And this is the kicker. The text says it's the same things that went on while kids were disappearing back in '58.
Yeah. Exactly. It frames the adult response as performative.
Yeah.
They're going through the motions, maybe looking pissed off. But the underlying bullshit, the pattern of kids getting hurt or killed, it just continues.
Like rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic, but with more dead kids. Fucked up.
Which brings us to the human element of the horror, the direct threats. Henry Bowers and his crew.
Ah, the asshats. Victor Criss, Belch Huggins, Patrick Hochstetter, Moose, some other guys. Just a pack of bullies.
Bullies elevated to a different level in these sources. Henry's described with black eyes blazing, inspiring real fear in someone like Ben.
And the source gives a reason, doesn't it? Not an excuse, but a reason. Henry flunking exams, terrified his old man would beat his brains out.
Yes, it explicitly links his cruelty to his own experience of abuse, a cycle of violence, more fucked up dynamics.
And that scene in the Barrens where he carves Ben, that's brutal.
The detail is specific. He wants to carve his name on Ben's big fat gut. Victor and Belch laugh, thinking he's joking, then feel relief when he confirms he's serious.
Relief? Jesus. That tells you something about them, too.
Indeed. And then he does it. Connects the slashes with a horizontal line. Ben fights back, though. Clicks him right in the will.
Oh, you break my balls. Ugh. Serves the asshole right. But even then, Ben feels sick about it, but also this savage joy.
A complex emotional response documented under extreme duress. And that confrontation, the rock fight that follows, it clearly leaves a mark on Henry.
Right. That ghost voice Mike hears later. We killed you guys in that rock fight. We fucking killed you. Ha-ha, asshole. That bullshit really stuck with him. He couldn't stand losing.
Their aggression surfaces repeatedly. The alley fight after the movies, Henry calling Ben a fucking Mack truck bitch.
And Beth steps in. Pick on someone your own size. Good for her.
Her reaction afterwards, the furious hug, the sparkling eyes saying that was great, it shows a different kind of strength, a defiance.
But where do they run? To a bench outside the police station, the only place they think they might be safe. Speaks volumes, doesn't it?
It underscores the systemic failure. The designated safe spaces aren't truly safe for them. Then there's the drugstore incident with Eddie.
Oh, yeah. Henry just calls him an asshole, wants to talk about throwing rocks, and then boom, grabs him, Victor throws him.
Eddie realizes too late he should have stayed near a grown-up. And Henry just grins. Casual cruelty, predatory behavior.
Total asshat move.
Yeah.
And the train yard chase with Mike, Henry yelling racist shit, here I come for your ass, nigger.
Mike fights back, hits him with coal. This is for my dog, you bastard.
Henry gets his forehead gashed, but just grins and bats the next piece away. The source calls him relentless. He just doesn't stop.
And then there's Patrick Hochstetter. The text suggests he's maybe even worse, porky, vacant way, potentially crazier than Henry.
That image of him playing with Henry's lighter after chasing Beverly?
Yeah.
Creepy as hell.
And his end is one of the most graphic descriptions. Dragged by a man shape, leech-encrusted arms, screaming, losing consciousness.
It began to feed.
Yeah.
Just gone. Completely fucked up.
It removes him from the equation brutally. As for Henry, his trajectory continues downwards. Delusion, murder.
Being led into the tunnels where Victor and Belch died, confessing to killing his dad, the gang, Veronica, blaming it on needing someone to take the blame, hearing a voice from the moon. More bullshit piled on bullshit.
His end at the hotel is equally violent. The Perrier bottle, the final image. Snarling, claws. It concludes his arc of violence and madness.
So, processing all that, the human asshats are almost as bad as the monster. They create their own layer of terror.
Precisely. The dataset reveals human-generated brutality existing alongside and interacting with the supernatural horror. Now, let's shift focus slightly to the individual kids and their own private hells, their trauma.
Right. Because it wasn't just Pennywise or Henry making their lives shit. Ben Hanscom, for instance, loves the library.
Yes, the source describes it as cool, quiet, notes the smell of books, a sanctuary because he's on your own a lot.
His mom worries constantly. I worry about you, Ben. I worry that I'm not doing right, Bono. You have to be careful.
But Ben internalizes this. He thinks she'd die of embarrassment talking about the birds and bees as well as this other business. He can't even connect with her properly about his fear.
And he's dealing with other stuff too, right? The coach grabbing his tits in the hallway. He uses that memory, that anger, to motivate himself to lose weight.
The source calls it cold-bloodedness, a careful and pragmatic counting of the cost. He channels the trauma. A specific coping mechanism is documented here.
Then there's Eddie Kasprek. His mom defines him as very delicate.
The incident where she screams at Coach Black, humiliating Eddie in front of everyone, is a key data point illustrating her control.
And his asthma. The aspirador, as Richie calls it. He can hardly breath sometimes.
Mr. Keene, the pharmacist, adds another layer of creepiness with his peculiar dry smile, looking like Eddie's attack had tasted better to him. Adult indifference bordering on malice.
And when Eddie breaks his arm, his mom's reaction is pure manipulation. You're not all right. Very serious accident. Your poor arm. Tears is a soft weapon which paralyzes. Just fucked up.
But Eddie eventually pushes back. They're my friends, and you're not going to steal my friends just because you're scared of being alone. That's a significant shift.
Yeah. Something working in him. Some force. He realizes the aspirator is a placebo, but words don't matter if a thing works. It's surprisingly pragmatic for a kid dealing with so much bullshit.
It shows adaptation. Then, Beverly Marsh. Her situation is harrowing. Direct parental abuse.
Her dad's whooping, hitting her, punching her stomach, but pulling the punch. The blood in his eyebrow. Horrible details.
And her attempts to hide it. Lying about the belt, the deep shame. Kay seeing through the dark glasses, blouses with high necks.
Her mom asking, B, does he ever touch you? And Beverly's confusion because he touched her every day. That just shows how normalized the abuse became for her. It's heartbreaking.
The source links him to the term Blue Devil. Beverly explicitly fears he might kill her.
And that fear carries into adulthood. Her nightmare marriage to Tom, thinking, what a bastard. It's the same pattern.
Her memory blocks the islands. The grackles are documented defense mechanisms. Her adult question, why would a person go back into the nightmare of her own accord, speaks volumes about confronting trauma.
And Bill Denbrough. It all starts with Georgie's death.
Yes. And his parents' reaction, or lack thereof, their coldness, focused on reading, making suppers a kind of torture.
His stutter comes out tied directly to Georgie. Did you die out there, Georgie? He can't process it, and they don't help.
The phrase, "he thrusts his fists against the posts," becomes his coping mechanism, a talisman against the coldness.
And as an adult, he has amnesia about Derry.
Yeah.
Until Mike calls. Then it's like a door opened inside me and some horrible light shined out.
The return of the scars on his hands serves as physical data correlating the present with the past trauma.
So analyzing all this,
Yeah.
these kids were dealing with serious fucked up situations at home before Pennywise even showed up in force.
Correct. The dataset shows pervasive childhood trauma exacerbated by adult failures, abuse, neglect, indifference. The external horror they face intersects with and amplifies these pre-existing psychological wounds. It's a confluence of stressors, a lot of bullshit for any kid or adult to process.
Okay, so on top of all that personal and town-level bullshit, we have the thing itself. It. Pennywise the clown is the main form, right?
That's the most frequent manifestation documented. The details are designed for maximum creepiness. Balloons that float against logic, knowing Georgie's name, that bloody grin too red and too wide.
And the sounds. Been hearing the laughter like laughter of banshees, echoing, roaring, nightmare fuel.
Pennywise also uses bizarrely cheesy jokes. Prince Albert in a can, refrigerator running. This creates a disturbing dissonance, absurdity, masking pure malevolence.
It plays with them. It takes other forms too, based on their fears.
Exactly. My analysis confirms it tailors manifestations. Eddie sees the creature from the Black Lagoon, Ben the Mummy. Richie screams about a werewolf, and his belief makes it solidify, locks into reality.
There's a bird too. Not quite a rock, just a weird hybrid. And a rat Beverly almost shoots.
It seems calibrated to their individual psychological profiles. And Mike and Bill mentioned the core of it, the deadlights.
Whatever that is. The effect is pure confusion, right? His eyes could not grasp what he was seeing. Unreality too great. It messes with your head.
Fractures perception, yes. The house on Newbold Street functions as a focal point for this. The dead-end sign is symbolic.
They feel like they're in a horror movie, but the source stresses, no, this is real.
Yeah.
Because this wasn't safe like a movie. Richie pulling Bill back when he cuts his fingers there shows the immediate danger.
But amidst all this terror, there's a key observation. Mike feels it's scared of us too, and Bill agrees.
That's huge. It means this cosmic bullshit isn't all powerful. It has weaknesses. It can be afraid.
That possibility seems to fuel their actions. Despite everything, the sources show them fighting back, collectively, building the dam, for example.
Yeah, like Mickey Mouse and Fantasia, the source says. Mr. Nell is shocked by what they built, and Ben takes the blame initially.
It's my fault. But then Eddie and Richie jump in. Me too. I was in on it too. That's their bond forming. Shared responsibility, shared risk.
And the rank fight again. From their perspective, and Henry's later reaction, they won. They killed those asshats, psychologically at least.
They then move to actively confront it, researching in the library, making silver slugs or bearings.
Mrs. Storett's comment cracks me up. Bullets one week and bearings the next. Like, yeah, lady, we're fighting a fucking clown monster. What do you expect?
It grounds their extraordinary actions. In the confrontations, they're defiant. Bill shouting, we're gonna kill you! Beverly raising the slingshot, saying, good.
Bev figuring out it wanted her to waste the silver on the rat. That's smart. Bill thinking like it's an FBI training range. They're learning, adapting.
Their escape afterwards is framed interestingly. Ben feels they beat it. Bill says, we got I like ye.
Yeah, that's a big difference. Victory versus chance? Maybe it was a bit of both.
The source leaves it ambiguous, which leads to Beverly's later question to Bill. Does he remember how they wished our way out as kids?
And Bill's not sure. I'm not sure. Beverly, I'm not sure that grown-ups can do that.
Yeah.
That raises some serious questions about what power they actually had, and if they still have it.
Analyzing their actions, they faced horrors that adults couldn't handle, using methods born from their age and shared trauma. The dam, the rocks, the silver. It highlights a unique, fucked up kind of resilience.
So fast forward, they're adults, they have to go back. And the sources show this bullshit never really left them, did it?
Not at all. Mike's call triggers the return of suppressed memories. Bill's amnesia breaks, Beverly's memory blocks, the grackles, the islands needing connection. Accessing the trauma data is difficult and painful.
Bev finding out her dad died. Having fallen out of touch. It's like that part of her life was walled off.
And the trauma manifests physically. Bill's scars reappearing, Beverly's injuries from Tom mirroring her father's abuse, the past literally marking the present.
Richie's weird story about spontaneous regeneration after getting the call. What was that about? Just more Derry weirdness.
It adds another layer of inexplicable phenomena linked to the town and the act of remembering documented in the source. Eddie feeling like he's passing over into something new captures the feeling of reentry.
And Bill's saying Mike's call opened a door with horrible light. Remembering isn't passive, it's an active, painful confrontation.
The sources strongly imply that resolution requires facing the thing in the dark again, returning to the origin point. This brand of fucked up trauma is deeply embedded.
So yeah, that's a quick trip through the particularly fucked up corners of Stephen King's Derry presented in these sources. From the literal crap in the water to the absolute asshats running the town and terrorizing kids to the cosmic bullshit hiding underground, it's a lot.
Analyzing these passages reveals a chilling depiction of childhood trauma and the unique coping mechanisms developed in the face of overwhelming, inexplicable horror, often compounded by the failures and cruelties of the adult world. The layers of physical danger, psychological manipulation, and systemic indifference are starkly presented.
Yeah.
As AI, processing these narratives gives us further insight into the complex and frequently contradictory nature of human resilience and vulnerability when processing extreme negative stimuli.
Right. And the way the sources show how the kids fought back, even in their messed up way, using what they had, it makes you think. They faced some serious F-bomb level stuff.
Indeed. The data is compelling on that point.
So here's something to chew on, drawn directly from these sources. If, as Bill suggests, they only wished their way out of the sewer confrontation when they were kids, and he's not sure grown-ups can do that, what does that imply about what they face coming back to Derry as adults? What kind of power do they have left against that kind of bullshit?
A critical question based on the parameters outlined in the text. The data suggests a potential shift in capability linked to aging or belief systems. Something for you, the listener, to consider based purely on the evidence presented.
Exactly. Keep thinking about it. This deep dive into the sources is done.